Alright, well, so far we've seen how you can use Kismet to write out some scripts, visual scripts, and let your program and your basically let Unreal run through these scripts and uh, give more interactivity and functionality to your program. So we turn the light on and off by changing a toggleable light on and off by basically um, touching a switch. We change the material instance, which is a set scalar parameter value for material instance. And also we spawn some objects, basically rigid objects or physics bodies into our level. Now, here I want to give you some more complex visual scripting design for a hypothetical scenario. And the level here is basically, you can download it from the Blackboard and you can walk through this level with me. And the level is basically called DM-CH09K Unreal 1 underscore start. So when you open this level up, you will see that there are 5 lights, and these lights are made of interp actors, which are static meshes, but they can be changed. These are just pink lines or the purple lines, spheres basically. And so each of these spheres or each of these interp actors is basically one of the objects that we have here. And so and they have a color that comes from a material instance from your content browser, from the package for chapter 9. There's a matte underscore light color instance that has the color of these interp actors. Okay, and then each of these interp actors, inside of them, they have lights to actually have real lights. Now, if we didn't have these lights, then the interp actors would basically glow, but you won't have any light in the scene. And we'll see that a little bit later. So our problem here, and we have a trigger already placed in the level. So what we want to do is that we want to have the player to start the level. When the player touches the trigger, we want all of the lights to turn off, and all of our interp actors, which are these purple static meshes, to be hidden. So basically that simulates the lights having turned off in our room. And then we want to turn these lights on one at a time, starting from the beginning of the level, which is right here, on the beginning of the hallway. So we want to turn the lights on one at a time. And that entails unhiding the interp actor and toggling the light on. Okay, so I'm going to do this now. So the first thing that you notice after we touch the trigger, we would want to turn the lights off, and we would like to change the color of our lights in the meantime. Now, in order to start this sequence, we click the trigger, and then we open the Kismet, and we right click and choose a new trigger, new event using trigger underscore 2 touch. So now if the player touches the trigger, our sequence will start. What will be the sequence that we start is basically to toggle our lights off. So let's create a new action, toggle, and then turn the lights off. Now, we need to set up the target for this sequence. One way is to create 4 variables using each of these lights, and another way is to choose one of the lights here, right click, go to select, and choose all point light toggleable actors. This way all of the lights will be selected at once. And when we have selected all these lights, as you see here, I go in the Kismet, right click, go to new variable, object list, and left click on it. This creates an object list. I right click on the object list, and then from the menu I insert all of the selected actors into the object list. So this way I populate my object list at the same time. Remember the previous time when we created the actor factory, then we had each actor that was being spawned, we placed them in the object list. Here I'm doing that at once in my Kismet. And then I connect the target of the toggle to the light object list. If you play this level, you see the lights are off from the beginning. It's because I touched this trigger. So when you touch the trigger, the lights will turn off. The problem that I have here, let me start one more time, this level. See, the lights are on when I start. When I touch the trigger, the lights will turn off. My problem is my interpactors, my light bulbs, basically, are still shining. This is because I haven't hid these meshes. Now, remember, these are not lights. These are just some static meshes, some objects, some piece of geometry that has a shining material on top of it. And that shining material is what is basically showing here. So I need to hide these as well. To do that, let's select one of these interpactors, right-click, go to select all interpactors. When I have all of them selected, I right-click here in the level, create a new object list, and then assign to it the selected interpactors. Okay, now my object list has all the selected interpactors in them. Now I need to right-click, go to Action, go to Toggle, and choose Toggle Hidden, and hide these meshes, these interpactors, right after I turn the lights off. Now this will be very helpful in basically allowing me to hide the lights, as well as turning the lights, and as well as hiding the interpactors. As you see, when I touch this trigger, the lights turn off, and my interpactors also will be hidden. All right. So this part of my sequence has been created now, and my next part, or my next task, is going to be to turn on the lights from the end of the hallway to the front, to where I am. Now, in order to do this, we will use another very nice and interesting tool in Unreal, which is called Matinee. And with Matinee, you can animate things in your level. And one of the things that we can animate, that we animate here, is the lights materials, or the light color, changing from the bluish color that you see here to a red or reddish color. Now, how can we do that? And that is the task that Matinee will take care of for us. So what I want to do is right-click next to my toggle hidden options and choose a new Matinee. And this will create a new Matinee for me. Basically, this is an animation. And my animation here is going to be the animating of the light colors from what they are right now to a reddish color. Double-click on the Matinee, and the Matinee editor will open. We'll go over the Matinee editor later, but right now what we want to know is that at the bottom here we can add our tracks and our animation groups. At the top here we can manipulate the curves, or animation curves, and at the bottom we have the timeline. Okay, so right click in the gray area and choose a new empty group. We will have different groups that we can add here. The camera group is a group if you want to create cinematics that you can use. Particle groups animate your particle systems. Skeletal meshes can be used to animate skeletal meshes and objects and so forth. So we want to just add a new empty group. And we call this group light change. So light change is going to be our light change group. And its group color is basically purple here. Okay. Now, what I need to do here is to change or to assign as a target to this light change group or animation track basically the lights from my level that I want their colors to be changed. So we go back to our Kismet and we duplicate our light object list, and then we connect the light change track to the light object list. Okay. And then we are going to add the play or connect the play input of matinee to the out input of our hidden group. What we need to do now, this matinee will be played after we hide everything. What we wanted to do is to change the light colors from what they are to a new color. So we need to right click on the light track and then add a new color property. And because we added our toggleable lights to this, when we add this new property, we can change the properties that we want to simulate or to animate. The property that we want to animate is basically a point light dot light color. We select it and then we press OK. Now this will be our light color, RGB light color, as you see here. Now make sure that the beginning of your animation track is basically right at point 0.0, as you see here, and then left click on the light color to turn orange. When the light color track is orange, that means it's selected, and then press enter. When you press enter, a new animation keyframe will be added to this scene. What this keyframe does is that it ensures that the changes that we want to apply will be applied at that frame. So if you have a bunch of keyframes, this Unreal will go through the keyframes and animate from one keyframe to the next keyframe, the positions, colors, and everything that we have. Here we have light colors. So right click on this red triangle and then set the color property to R value 1.00, G value 0.13, and B value 0.13. Okay, and then press OK. So when we do that, our light colors will be changed to 0.13, 0.13 for red and for blue and green, and 1.0 for red. Okay, now we can close our Unreal matinee. Now if you play this level from here now, when you touch the triggers, nothing will happen. The thing is that our lights turned off from the Kismet, our static meshes turned hidden, and matinee took care of changing the light colors. But the lights haven't been turned on yet. So what we need to do is to turn on the lights. Now let's choose the last light at the end of the hallway and then right click on the Unreal Kismet editor and then choose a toggle and turn the lights on at the completion of my light change track, and then right click while your light is selected, the last light is selected in the level, right click on the target and add new object variable using point light toggleable. And when we do that and when we go to play, and you turn the lights off, oh, I know my mistake was that I added this turned on at the end of the complete sequence. It has to go from the hidden object. Oh, okay. Now it's right. Okay, so now the light should turn on immediately after we change the light color. Okay, as you see here, the light color changed to a red color and the light turned on. However, this light turned on immediately. To set a delay, and we want the lights to turn on 1 second after another, to set this delay, we can right click on the connector link and click on set active delay and change it to 1.0. Okay, now if we run this level, and if the player goes and touches the lights turn off, and after 1 second the last light will turn on. Okay, so this is good so far. However, notice that the light turned on, but the mesh is still hidden, so it doesn't really look realistic. So what I need to do is to turn the mesh on. So right click, go to action, go to toggle hidden, and unhide the mesh. And you need to select the mesh from your level, right click on the target, add new target object variable for the target. And then when you play the level one more time, the lights will turn off, and now the last light will turn on after 1 second. Okay, but notice that your static mesh color is still light blue, and we want to turn this to a reddish color. To do that, we can use another matinee editor. Notice that your book uses a set vector parameter to change the material instance parameter value. However, the set vector parameter is removed from Unreal Development Kit after the UT3. And to do that, we can use a matinee editor to change our static meshes color values as well. And I'll show you how to do this. Now, go and right click at the bottom of your Unreal matinee and choose a new matinee, and then connect the play of your second matinee to the output of your toggle hidden. So basically, when you hide your meshes, you change their colors. To do that, we need to double click on the matinee, right click, create a new empty group, and call it mesh color change. Right? And then go and select your object list with the meshes, duplicate it, and connect it to the output of the Unreal matinee object. Double click on your light color again, and right click on the mesh color change variable and choose add new vector material param track. Alright, now I have created a new vector material parameter, and this new vector material parameter will be animating the color of my material instance. In order to be able to set that up, I need to assign a material to this track, a material name or the parameter name to it, and then animate those variables. Click on the plus sign to add a material, open your material node, open your content browser, and from the content browser, go to your chapter 9 Kismet package, left click on the material instance, and then go back to your matinee and add it to your material object of this track property. When you do that, then your material object will be assigned to the track. So the color changes that you apply will be applied on the material instance. The color property name that we want to change is called the light color. So this will change my light colors. Okay, as you see here, when I did that, it automatically changed those values for me to nothing. So they're basically black at this moment because I don't have any values set for them. Make sure that your timeline is at 0, and then while your material parameter track is selected, press enter. And when you do that, a new keyframe will be added that you can animate now. Now click on the little rectangular icon, little square icon next to the parameters, and that would open your parameter values in your parameter editor. So what we want to do is that we want to set these parameter values to 1.00 for R, 0.13 for G, and 0.13 for B. So I right click here, set value, and put it at 0.13 for blue, right click and set value at 0.13 for green, right click and set value at 1.00 for red. Okay. Now if you see here, when you play the matinee editor, you see that the light colors changed from the value they had to 1.0, 0.13, 0.13 for RGB respectively. Now you can close your Unreal Matinee and minimize your content browser. Okay, now I'm rearranging these things a little by little. So, and then connect, and then we don't have to connect anything. So now what happens here, when we touch the trigger, we hide the lights, we turn off the lights, and we hide the meshes. We change the light colors and the mesh colors, and then after 1 second, we turn the first light on, and we unhide its corresponding mesh. Now if I play this level one more time, and I touch the trigger, lights turn off, and the light and mesh will turn on, the first one. Okay? Now next, I would like to turn the other lights and meshes on 1 second, in 1 second intervals. One way to do this is that I can now copy and paste these toggle and toggle hiddens, connect them to a different light and a different mesh, and then set their delays up. One simple way to put these things basically on top of each other and connect them is to use something that's called a switch. So what I want to do is that I would like to copy and paste my toggle and toggle hiddens, hold Alt to remove the already connected links, then choose the second mesh, go to the target of on toggle hidden and add it, and choose its light and add it to the right click and add new object variable for the toggleable 4, and then right click on its turn on. Oh, actually I can't change the delay now. I will change the delay after I connect these lights to my switch. So next, copy, paste the toggles, hold Alt and uncheck the connectors, choose the third mesh and add it as the target by right clicking of the toggle hidden and choose its light, and add it to the target of the toggle, paste one more time, hold Alt to uncheck unlink the connectors, select the mesh, add it to the actors, select to the target, select the light, add it to the target, and then in the Kismet, paste one more time, hold Alt to deselect the links, choose the mesh, add it to the target, choose the light, add it to the target of the toggle. So now I have all my 5 lights turned on and meshes on head. Alright, so what I can do is that now here I can use a switch. So if you right click, go to new action, go to new switch, and bring in a switch, it will add a switch here. And this, you can add several switches and then you can turn them on one after another, or basically activate them one after another. Now what I need to do is I need to go to the property of the switch and increase its link counts from just 1 count to 5 counts, and make the increment amount at 1. So it ignites the first link, and then the second link, and then the third link, and the fourth, and the fifth, and the sixth, and so on and so forth, right? And then I need to go and add the indices for my link. So I need to add the indices. So I have 5 indices from 0 to 4. So my 0th index is link 1. My first index is going to be link 2, the next index link 3, the next index link 4, and the next index link 5. Okay? So now my links have been set up. Now if I connect the output here of my toggle hidden to my switches and then connect each of these links to each of the toggles that I have, they would basically turn on the lights one after another. Okay? Now let's play this level. Now if you play the level from here, see that when you touch the trigger, the lights would turn off, and after 1 second they would turn on. Now the problem that I have is that now all the lights are turning on at the same time after 1 second. What can I do to solve this problem? It can be done very easily here. And that is done by changing the delay values here for each link. So my first link's delay is 1 second. If you right click and set the active link delay for the second link to 2 seconds, right click on the third link and set active delay to 3, right click on the next turn on and set the active delay to 4, and right click on the last object and set its active delay to 5, and then when you start your level, you touch the trigger, the lights would start turning on one after another in increments of 1 second. Okay? All right. So with this, I think that would give us a good idea about how our Kismet here in Unreal can be used to program sequences of events, actions, actions, and we can use target objects and assign them to the targets of different actions and apply the actions onto those onto the objects in the level to basically make our levels more interactive. So with this, I close up this our tutorials here. There are and there is a nice set of steps that you can take to create to create a essentially a teleportation mechanism, you can set it up and turn it in as your second project. Well, with this, I think that our introduction to Kismet is pretty much done, and we will study and talk about more enhanced and advanced tools with the Unreal for our level design in the next units. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed our working with Kismet, and I hope you enjoy working with the Kismet for your assignments. Bye.